When COVID-19 first hit,
U.S. infectious disease expert Anthony Fauci.
Our baseline of infections all along has never gone down to a level that would allow you to be easily controllable when you get cases that soar up for a variety of reasons. Right now, as we are in the cool season of the fall and soon to enter the cold season of the winter, that makes it very problematic because people out of necessity will be congregating indoors more than outdoors.
Total COVID-19 cases across the United States hit an all-time daily high for a third straight day on Thursday, with the CDC reporting over 140,000 new cases. It was the ninth straight day with over 100,000 cases, according to Reuters data. California is now the second state after Texas to see its tally of confirmed infections climb above 1 million. The number of Americans hospitalized with the virus at a new high as well, jumping by more than 40% in the past 2 weeks. Deaths climbed by at least 1,170, bringing the death toll in the U.S. to roughly 243,000. A Reuters tally of figures reported by U.S. public health agencies showed coronavirus cases more than doubling in 13 states in the past 2 weeks, most of them in the Midwest, led by Iowa, Minnesota, Michigan, and Illinois. The situation is reaching a breaking point, says Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker.
The numbers don't lie. If things don't take a turn in the coming days, we will quickly reach the point when some form of a mandatory stay-at-home order is all that will be left.
One city in his state, Chicago, has done just that, issuing a 30-day stay-at-home advisory with the mayor telling residents to cancel Thanksgiving. Fauci wouldn't go that far, but said holiday plans definitely need to be rethought given the
assigned to protect President Donald Trump have been sidelined by COVID-19, according to the Washington Post. 2 U.S. government sources confirmed to Reuters that Secret Service officers had tested positive for the virus, but they did not say how many. One of the sources said a larger number of officers who had not tested positive had gone into quarantine as a protective measure. White House spokesman Judd Deere referred questions to the Secret Service, but told the Post separately that the administration took every case seriously.
Make America great again.
The outbreak, which the Post said was at least partly linked to a series of pre-election Trump rallies, comes about a month after the president himself contracted COVID-19 and was flown to a U.S. military hospital for days of treatments. Various White House officials and federal employees have tested positive for the virus in recent weeks, as many state governments are struggling to tame alarming surges in infections and hospitalizations. According to Reuters calculations, skyrocketing infections could add more than 8 million more cases and 70,000 deaths nationwide between now and Inauguration Day. Experts say the only ways to change that trajectory is for state governments to enforce stricter health measures or for the Trump administration to alter its coronavirus.
At least 15 people were killed in cross-border shelling between India and Pakistan on Friday. Officials said this is one of this year's deadliest days along the heavily militarized frontier, separating the nuclear-armed rivals. Indian officials said the barrage of mortars and other weapons along several parts of the line of control, the de facto border, began after Indian troops foiled an infiltration attempt from Pakistan in northern Kashmir. Pakistan military said in a statement it had responded to unprovoked and indiscriminate firing by the Indian army. Both India and Pakistan claim Kashmir in full, each rules part of the region, with New Delhi long accused its neighbour of fueling an insurgency, which Pakistan denies. Indian and Pakistani troops regularly exchange fires across the mountainous border. Both sides also accuse the other of firing at civilian areas. According to official data, more than 40 civilians have been killed in firing between India and Pakistani troops this year.
Residents living in a Manila suburb returned to their homes on Friday to start the cleanup from Typhoon Vamco. They found streets caked in mud, their houses full of floodwater, and with no electricity. At least 39 people were killed when Typhoon Vamco tore through the main island of Luzon late on Wednesday. Tens of thousands of homes were submerged as the storm caused some of the worst flooding in years in the capital Manila. Police and soldiers were searching for dozens of people still missing on Friday. Vamco is the 8th typhoon to hit the Philippines in 2 months and adds to the strain on a government already grappling with coronavirus and a recession. Virtual classes and government work has been suspended in Luzon. On Friday, the typhoon was headed for central Vietnam, which is already reeling from devastating floods and mudslides. At least 160 people have been killed there since early October.
At least 7 people died in North Carolina on Thursday as flash floods swept through parts of the state, authorities said. As of Friday, at least 2 people were missing. Floodwaters left cars submerged and breached at least 4 bridges and 50 roadways in Alexander County. 5 counties declared a state of emergency Thursday, according to the state's Deputy Director of Emergency Management. Electric utility Duke Energy said about 3,100 customers were without electricity across North Carolina as of Thursday afternoon. North Carolina has been hit by the same weather system as Tropical Storm Eta, with some areas receiving about 10 inches of rain. Eta, the 28th named storm of the busiest Atlantic hurricane season on record, according to the National Hurricane Center, made its 4th landfall around 4 a.m. on Thursday near Cedar Key, Florida.
Nearly a week after President-elect Joe Biden clinched the presidency over Donald Trump, China on Friday congratulated the former vice president on the win. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin.
We have been following the reaction to the U.S. presidential election of both the United States and the international community. We respect the choice of the American people. We extend congratulations to Mr. Biden and Ms. Harris. Meanwhile, we understand the results of the U.S. election will be determined according to U.S. laws and procedures.
Trump's refusal to accept defeat has put Beijing in an awkward position, with China unwilling to do anything to antagonize Trump, who has mounted court challenges to the balloting and remains in office until the January 20th inauguration. Relations between China and the United States are at its worst in decades, over disputes ranging from technology and trade to Hong Kong and the coronavirus. And the Trump administration has unleashed a barrage of sanctions against Beijing. Shortly after Biden's win, numerous U.S. allies offered congratulations, while the leaders of China and Russia were among noticeable holdouts. In 2016, Chinese President Xi Jinping sent congratulations to Trump on November 9th, a day after the election.
Shrouded in smog, for many in New Delhi, it's difficult to catch your breath. This is a crisis that just won't go away.
My legs are in pain and my eyes burn. My whole body is in pain as we stand from 8 till 2 in pollution.
So 22-year-old Rihanna Saif is one of more than 2,000 people in the city's civil defence force that have been desperately deployed for a program called Red Light On, Vehicle Off. Saif is out in the street to raise awareness to motorists. If you're at a red light, turn off your engine. New Delhi has been facing one of its worst spells of air pollution in years, with pollution in some areas of the capital more than 8 times the World Health Organization's permitted limit. The plan was introduced last month, but this week it was extended until the end of November. But not everyone agrees with it, and some health experts are worried for the young workers like Saif. Dr. Arvind Kumar is with the Sir Ganga Ram Hospital there.
These volunteers who are standing on the various crossings, I see most of them are late teenagers. Some of them may be in early 20s. Most of them are actually teenagers. And they are all standing at the busiest of crossings, which obviously is exposing them to much higher toxin levels than an average citizen will breathe, because they are standing in the middle of dense traffic.
Meanwhile, the smog shows little sign of letting up. Saturday's Diwali festival is also likely to lead to a further surge in pollution, as residents are expected to set off huge amounts of fireworks.